Greetings programs, welcome back to CK2. We're going to start off with our customary quick look around. There's not a whole lot going on, although what is of interest is the fact that Castile is having a bit of turbulence, which may have implications down the line. So that is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Otherwise, everything's looking pretty stable elsewhere. Sweden is actually looking very squeezed at this point. It's now got a single province, and I'm actually seriously considering pulling my Chancellor from Suomi here and putting him over in Hälsingland instead. So that would give me immediately easier access to Norway and then Denmark via Gotland. Although, if I get a province here, it is potentially easier to fabricate casus belli against neighbours. Although I think they're all Christians, so... oh no, they're not. Okay. Some of them it'll be easier. Somebody actually asked, why didn't I just use a Holy War CB to declare war on some of these people? But the answer is, they're too far away. Now, there are special rules regarding Christian and Islamic rulers, but otherwise, the exact mechanic is if it's more than 2 sea provinces away, then you can't use the Holy War CB to declare war on somebody. If they're, if they would otherwise be able to declare warable on. That sentence went to very bad places. Very bad places. Okay, moving swiftly on. Otherwise, in England, well, as you probably remember, we had, once again, House Caption Guy losing the throne, but it's not the first time that's happened, and they've bounced back before. So there are going to be plenty of members of House Caption Guy around with a casus belli on the throne, or with a claim on the throne. So I don't rate King Arno's chances that highly, and he's actually already in a war to get a caption guy back on the throne, and that's what this war with Navarra is. It's the Queen Mother. We can actually quickly check the ledger to see what progress that war is taking, or who is in the favour of. So still say minus 3%, so it's very slightly in the favour of England at the moment, but minus 3% is nothing. That is completely indecisive. So we'll unpause it. I will probably skip ahead because the main thing that I want is one of these claims. Having said, I'm seriously gonna move it over. No, that's the exact moment. Because of course it is, Crusader Kings. Because of course it is. It's like this game knows. It knows. It's in my mind. So there we go. That's what we've been waiting for like 2 episodes? 3 episodes? I can't remember when I announced my North Sea Empire plan. I think it was 3 episodes ago. So we'll recall the Chancellor. I have my casus belli. I can go to war. He's only allied with Sweden, which means nothing. That's totally inconsequential. So basically he's on his own, and is a single territory claim. So I could do it that way. I could get the foothold and then maybe attack Gotland next, or one of these other places. I mean, I could try and take this bit of territory as well, but they've also got a vassal count up here, so I can't take the entire duchy in one go, I don't think. So I'm actually just going to do it. We're going to go for the war, and we're going to mobilise the troops, and we're getting off into the action right from the start, because normally with these episodes, I have to wait for a while for anything to actually take place. But not so this time. So we're going to raise the full whack of our raisable troops, our levies. We're going to plonk them all into Ross. I'll probably... wrong army. I'll probably keep the retinues at home. And I'll figure out how many ships I need to raise. Not all of them, but actually most of them. And I don't have an awful lot of spare cash, so the fleet to get them over there is going to be a little bit expensive. We'll actually get them all in the same place to start with. And there we go. Sweden's now in the war, but it does not matter. Now, the only thing that could possibly go horribly wrong is that Colin II keels over, which would be very bad timing indeed. So let's hope that doesn't happen. I would like to get this war persecuted and successfully won as soon as possible. And then we'll have that initial long sought after toehold in Scandinavia. So we're just waiting for the troops who are dragging their feet. Come on, march faster. Come on, get the whips out, make the men march faster. And we will, the barony of Dagobah, we will get these guys all on boats. Now, I need 100 boats, basically, so I am just going to raise one province at a time and select Alt key. So that is 70 boats, I think. So we need 30 more. We'll raise Cumberland, that's another 25, and let's say the boats of Dublin, 28. It's a bit of an awkward number. I suppose actually what boats have we got in? 13. So actually the 28 boats, we'll send them back to Dublin, disband. It'll be marginally cheaper this way. We don't have more boats than we need. Because you can't just say, oh, I'll have a few boats. You get all of the boats, whether you like it or not. And sometimes, actually, just in terms of, we lost reuse. Sometimes being able to have just some of the boats from your province would be actually more useful. Just in terms of, that's quite expensive. And Skelg's just had another daughter called Yaintil. Okay. Is that enough? Oh no, wait. There's still more coming round? I don't know, but we're losing horrendous amounts of cash here. Good lord. Okay, they went to the Western Isles instead, that's why. Right, we may have to take out a loan. Maybe. But in my haste to have this war finally over and done with, I'm willing to bear that. I am willing to take out a loan. But there's no way my armies are not going to be beaten, but I may have cash problems, so we're going to go with 300 from the Jewish merchants, which buys me a little bit of time. Also, the Duke of Munster apparently has too many messages. Okay, we have Mayor Blackadder is no longer the Grand Mayor, but he's still got yes, because when you award extra provinces to a merchant republic, whoever you award them to then keeps that when the inheritance happens, when the next mayor takes their place. So the Blackadders now alone out of the patrician families have a bit of land. You can fiddle and fine-tune a bit to kind of elevate one family over the other and make sure that they've got a little bit more cash than the other families. Because a holding will always bring you more cash than just the kind of off-map barony. So, who is it that was right? We have, just as see, this is what happens. You go to click a thing and another two messages pop up. So, Duchess Leia of Munster. And she is, who will she? Corran McJedi, so that's fine. So there's not going to be any messy inheritances. I did notice that the Duchy of Connacht is going to be very messy indeed, because it's going to be the current Count of Teviotdale, which is currently part of the Duchy of Lothian. So part of the Duchy of Lothian is then going to be part of... it's all going to be messy. Anyway, never mind. So we need these boats to sail faster, because this is costing... Look at this, 50 gold a month. Also, that's interesting, they're all switching their Tanistry votes. We'll just have a quick check that it's still Tanist Farquhar, because we need him to inherit both, otherwise things are going to get messy. This is why I ultimately want an empire, and I've probably said this already, is to keep just one crown with one set of inheritance laws. Because multiple elective laws like that, or even multiple crowns with different set of laws can mean your hard-fought-for kingdom just gets split, which can be a right pain in the bum. So we'll immediately send these ships back to disband. And in theory, what happens is I don't have to then send ships back for these guys because they're just the levy troops. They're not my thingy troops. You know, these ones, those ones. Retinue. There you go. There's the word. I am recording this a little bit late, so I may be a little bit derpier than usual. Maybe. But the number of troops I've got is absolutely going to be sufficient, given that it's a tribal Christian ruler, so that won't be a problem. I do not anticipate this being a difficult war at all. Although, you know, I've said that previously and things have gotten interesting. That can happen sometimes. So while that siege is going on, we'll just have a quick peek around the rest of the map. I don't think there's a lot going on. Although the hinterlands of Cumania are looking a bit slightly fractured, but for the most part, well, I did actually notice at some point, and look at this, this is a real mix. Catholicism is making real inroads. Now, Tengriism usually kind of gets a bit squeezed anyway, but usually it's by the Orthodox Christian religion. But because the rulers of Cumania, if I can find the Khan, they've converted to Christianity, so that is all slowly, unless somebody... Oh, okay, they just broke free. Unless somebody further down the line converts back to Tengriism or Orthodoxy or whatever, or Orthodox Christianity. That's all going to slowly convert to Christianity, which is going to be quite interesting. Perm, on the other hand, is remaining staunchly Suamensko. So they... and that could be an opportunity for me much further down the line, because they'll be pagans as far as my Christian characters are concerned, and therefore I will be able to declare a holy war on them, but that could potentially be way, way later. I mean, I'm thinking this as part of the North Sea Empire, along with, obviously, the islands, but, you know, maybe this eventually? Because I do have the extreme long-term goal of plugging this game, once we reach the end of the line, which will be a ways off yet, of actually... then putting this into Europa Universalis 4, because I've got the save file converter DLC. Never actually used it yet, I have to say. It was one of the earliest bits of DLC that came out with the game. Limited Crown Authority, and oh, hello. Well, that didn't take long. We're going to ignore that, but guess what? Queen Sinigeth, mother-in-law of the, not even that anymore. Okay, I don't know what happened there. She had a daughter who is in a different dynasty. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Oh, it was, she didn't marry matrilineally. After turning me down, I was going to offer her just a regular marriage, and after turning whoever I offered her down, she then went and just had a regular marriage with some Spanish nobody. Not that they were nobody because they were Spanish, but they were a nobody in terms of they weren't, you know... Or were they? I don't know, actually, having said that. That was very kind of... Who was he? De Vizcaya? Are they kings of anything? No, they've got a duchy. The Duke of Navarra. A duke. Okay, you could have married into royalty and instead you went for the relation of a duke. It wasn't even someone that was a duke in their own right. Well, screw you. She's dead now anyway. Whatever. There we go. We've got the first level of the siege. This is all going fairly quickly. But yeah, that took remarkably little time for House Caption Guy to back on the throne again, you know. All change. Everything's happening very quickly this episode. Normally I have to, like, I'll have the breaks in between stuff happening, and it'll be like I record for 10 minutes and then there's a 40-minute gap. And then I record for another half an hour or something like that. Or I record for 10 minutes and then there's another half an hour gap. Or I can never predict. I can absolutely never predict. Anyway, he's making a peace offer. He recognises our superior martial prowess and and obviously also wants us to stop playing those damn bagpipes already. So we will accept graciously, and there we go. We have our foothold. So let's have a little look around, and I can click away all of those. Now that has put me over my Demence limit. I may want to give this to a vassal. The difficulty with giving vassals further away holdings, and that is a good couple of 100 miles away, is they may be more likely to rebel, and it's harder to get troops over to then deal with them later. But we'll disband those troops. We don't need them. We'll just concentrate on accumulating cash for the time being in order to pay for more claim fabrications, which is definitely something I'm going to be doing, and also obviously to pay off that loan to the Jewish moneylenders. Now I'm going to first off look at Gotland. Now Gotland's a bit odd because the actual title is still somehow tied to the island of Gotland. When you actually click on the title, it takes you to the island of Gotland, but that's in the personal domains of the Queen of Denmark. And none of these has a duchy level, flag. One of them is held by a patrician family person, but because the main title itself is held to Gotland, and because the whole thing about titles with merchant republics can get a bit weird, well, this is one of those weirdnesses that there is a Grand Mayor of the Republic of Gotland, but the game has decided that because Gotland is owned by somebody else, none of these counties, and with a kingdom, or any other kind of entity, it would just pop over to one of these places. Instead, it's decided it's just floating off in the ether somewhere because reasons. Yeah, they never really did properly implement the Republic. I mean, it was a nice idea, that bit of DLC, but it's always been one of the more buggier ones that they introduced and never quite got around to then properly fixing. So I'm having a quick look at my, just before we move on, just before I decide what to do next, I'm going to have a quick look at my tech points, and I'm thinking actually tolerance would be a pretty useful one to get because it's a minus modifier to the opinion penalty for different cultures, and we've got a couple of different ones going on, so I'm actually going to plonk a whole bunch of cultural points into that. I can also either put points into shipbuilding or cavalry, and I don't have a lot of either, to be honest. Shipbuilding might be useful, but I think it literally just lets me build more shipyards. And I get plus 6% more galleys, I'm guessing, for the provinces I've already got. Whereas cavalry just gives me more combatability. I'm going to go with combatability for now, because I don't necessarily need more boats. That's shipbuilding generally, and shipyards, that's a low priority. So we'll have a quick look at what's around me. It's Cumania on one side, Satukuntans to the north, who I obviously am now in truce with. I've got Gotland, or one of the holdings of Gotland, to the west, and they could be a little tricky to attack. I've got a kind of a straight crossing link between the island, and that actually would give me a nice path to leapfrog over to the Scandinavian peninsula proper, but you get horrendous penalties for trying to attack across a water crossing like that. Defending those kind of crossings is particularly easy, and it's why you can do lots of interesting things when you're playing as Denmark, because you've got the Oresund to actually make use of. I hope I said that right. I've been watching the bridge a bit. I'm very slowly working my way through Series 2, and it makes me laugh every time somebody says Melmo, and I don't know why. And that happens quite often because one of the main characters, Saganaren, is actually from the Melmo Police Department, and every time she just flashes a badge and says she's from, and I just laugh a little, just a little. I think it's just the way it's said. I don't know. I'm laughing with you, Sweden, not at you. Yes. So anyway, Ireland is not a particularly great choice. Cumania is, well, big, but mostly far away. So that might be a better choice. Or else I could do the same thing and... well, I'm going to have to bring troops over anyway. It's easier to bring them over and land them somewhere in friendly territory rather than have to walk off the boats, which always puts you at a disadvantage. But of the available choices, well, that's probably the best of them. That's just a single tribal count who is actually Suamensk. I might actually have a holy war. Aha, yes I do. And this is why I wanted to make that initial insertionist, because I knew I could at least use the holy war Cassius Belli a bit. Now, other characters of the same faith may join in, but there's not a lot of them. There's of the Suamensk characters. Well, the biggest block by far is obviously Perm. I'm not sure if they join in. They might be a little far away. There's also Chiefess Lauha of Savo. There is... I don't even know how you'd say that. I'm not even going to try. Somebody somewhere will be horribly insulted, possibly. But... yeah, I don't know. That's going to be Poyanmar or something along those lines. I don't know. None of these choices are particularly great. And if I'm trying to go to war with him again, obviously that will have a horrible penalty because I'm at truce and I don't have Cassius Belli at the moment anyway. And I've already explained why I didn't try and wait around to make another one. So I'm thinking maybe I go with what I was about to switch my focus to when the thing popped up saying you have a claim. Maybe go for Sweden. Maybe eliminate Sweden entirely as a kingdom, as a nation. I'm going to exterminate Sweden. Not, out of malice. It's just, it has a single province. And I want that province. And exterminating Sweden will just, I'm sure, for the Finnish viewers and the Norwegian viewers and the Danish viewers and the Estonian viewers and the Lithuanian viewers, that will just be like a side benefit, a little bonus. So yeah, okay. There will be comments, possibly. It's fine. I don't mind insulting the Swedes so much. It's the Norwegians I want to keep sweet. They've got all that lovely, lovely oil money. Go check out my Patreon. Wow, that was subtle. Anyway, we will skip ahead a bit. Actually, no, we won't. What I'll do is I'll assign this to somebody, I'll give that to somebody, and then we'll skip ahead. So, yeah, let's take a look in the court, see who we've got who is suitable. A lot of them are McJedis, and I don't really want to plonk a McJedi over there, because it's gonna... We've already got a lot of messy inheritances going on, so I might actually throw a bit of money away and invite a noble to court. Oh, 50 gold, though. Yeesh. He'd better be good. I'm just saying. He'd better be worth this 50 gold. He'd better have like the genius trait and be able to make rainbows and unicorns appear at the drop of a hat. No, he's terrible. He's got a decent stewardship skill, but everything else is incredibly bad. 0, 2, 10, decent. 0, 1. He's absolutely terrible. But his stats are not awful, though. But we're 50 gold. I wasted 50 gold on you, man. Halagad of Dublin. Oh, anyway, never mind. Right. Let's hope he proves to be slightly more capable than he appears to be, because frankly, he does not appear to be capable at all. Capable at all, even. I could have actually 600 gold. I could have maybe built a new bishopric holding and made it a. I don't know. I don't have any bishops that hold county titles. That would be an interesting thing to do. Although there aren't that many mechanics involved with it as there are with the trade zones and whatever. And good lord, Gotland's basically got all of the Baltic at this point. Okay, Gotland's gonna have money. That actually might be a problem, because money means they'll be able to afford mercenaries. That might be an issue. We'll see. But yeah, no, bishops don't do anything interesting particularly. Although I think if you've got bishops that hold counties or even duchies or even kingdoms, it's possible to give a kingdom level title to a bishop. They potentially, I think, have a higher chance of becoming cardinals, and therefore you can indirectly get some papal influence that way. But yeah, there's none of the same things otherwise. And in fact, a lot of the mods for CK2 either cut out bishops entirely, like the Game of Thrones mod, for instance, does very, very little with bishops and bishoprics, generally speaking. But otherwise, in the vanilla game, yeah, they're just a bit boring, really. So we could, just for novelty's value, but it wouldn't get us extra money or anything like that. Although I think you get a piety bump for doing it when you do it. So let's unpause, let's skip ahead and see if any other interesting things happen. We might get incredibly lucky. This might happen all over again. Look at that. He's got a single castle. He's got one ally still. Actually, I don't think he'd even be able to come into war. I think you get the choice of breaking a truce if somebody calls you to war like that, but whether or not he'd actually honour it. Anyway, yeah, he's. I don't even know why he's still alive. I don't know why Gotland hasn't gobbled him up, or Norway, or anybody at all, really, because, yeah, he's just horrendously, pathetically weak. And, oh, also, hello. Somebody is trying to claim the throne of France, not Aquitaine, France. So that could be interesting. There could be a split between the north and south. And hello, civil war. Having just gotten the crown back for House Caption Guy. Lo and behold. And it would be a Spaniard on the throne after her, actually. But the civil war, right. What is the civil war about? Earl Nut of Surrey. Or is it just Nut? I can never remember. Duke Sigrad's claim on England. Right, who is Duke Sigrad? He is a buddy, a pal, maybe, of I can't see his personal relations. Well, it's a duke. And there are only so many dukes, so I'm just going to look Duke Sigrad of York, of House Caption Guy. And I think it's just he fancies his chances at getting the throne, even though it's one of his kin. It is, after she dies, not going to be one of his kin on the throne, so that possibly also influenced his decision. Anyway, also, oh god. So here's a lovely mental image for you. Sweetly, gently, we molded our bodies together and recreated the familiar feel of us, embracing, touching, loving. So I have the celibate trait, and this is popping up. I have the chance of getting lustful. I could be celibate and lustful at the same time, because Crusader Kings 2 is sometimes a little bit silly like that. There's also a 20% chance that I'll die, but also Colin II is 57, his wife is 53, so that's the mental image that this game is giving us right now. Thank you, Paradox. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So let's click the button. Oh, bravo, Crusader Kings. Bravo, Paradox. Bravo. He'd been celibate for so many years. His heart could just not take the strain. It was too much for him. The shock it did for him. And there we go. R.I.P. King Colin II. You had a long reign. He's actually been our most successful king yet. He has been the most successful of the McJedis. Farquhar's stats aren't quite as good. He's actually stressed, which is not particularly great. And I don't know. He's got some not particularly good traits in terms of personal relations with other people. We'll have a quick look at vassals, actually. Let's hope we don't have a civil war brewing, although actually everybody is at least green, apart from her, but she's only -3, so that's fine. We don't, I think, have any immediate civil wars or anything. No? No, this is looking alright for now. But, I'm tempted to call the episode here. We're actually only half an hour in. This has been a single, unbroken recording from the start. We've actually become Alba. Ah, he's Welsh. Okay, then. That's one of those things that can happen, depending on the culture that you are. That can affect the names of titles, especially. If you go on the earliest start date, the names of the Scottish provinces are completely unrecognisable for most people. So, there we are. I mean, this has been... It has been what it has, and we've actually got different people being nominated for Succession, but I'll fiddle around with that at the beginning of the next episode. We're just gonna... I can't top this. I absolutely can't top this. This has just been a rip-roaring episode. This has been fantastic. So, I hope you enjoyed this, because I certainly have. If you did, you can leave any comments below. You can hit the like button. You can subscribe to my channel. And, as always, stay tuned for more.